crafted of all the brighter worlds, crowded onto Yoroto. But even here was their salvation for ransom. The jinx-scarred acolyte, when tonight was the night of Bantai, last night to pay old debts.
I have paid for my bottle, and I have nothing left for you to steal. We have nothing in common, no business together. Now, if you don't mind, you are in my line of vision, and I'd like to watch the finish of the dance, please.
May I sit down, Mr. Ransom? I am Maitor. Pleasure to meet you. Here, out of your line of vision.
The chair belongs to you.
You were not surprised that I knew your name, Mr. Ransom.
Let's say that I wasn't interested.
Her name is Irene. She's lovely, isn't she, Mr. Ransom? Surely the inner world showed you nothing like her. The eyes, the red mouth, dressed like...
Shut up!
Very well, Mr. Ransom. Get out of my place, now. Leave the whiskey and the woman. I have no traffic with fools.
I've told you, Maitor, that you're wasting your time. But make your pitch, if you must.
Ah, Mr. Ransom. You do not care to go out into the starless night. Perhaps there are those who wait for you, eh? With very long knives?
Are you trying to sell me a lucky charm, Maitor?
Would you call a spaceship a lucky charm, Mr. Ransom?
No. If it were sitting across the trail outside, I'd be dead before I got halfway to it.
Not if I provided you with a guard of my men.
Maybe not. But I would have not picked you for a philanthropist, Maitor.
There are no philanthropists on Yaroto, Mr. Ransom. I offer you escape. It is true. You will have guessed that I expect some service in return.
Get to the point.
All the scum of the galaxy wash up on Yaroto at last. That is why you and I are here, Mr. Ransom. It is also why a certain pirate landed his ship on the desert out there 3 days ago. Callisto Queen, the ship's name is, though it has borne a dozen others. Cargo, Jovian silks, metals from the moons of Mars, and narco-vin from the system of Alpha Centauri.
Is all that supposed to mean something to me? It doesn't.
It suggests a course, nothing more. In towards Sol, out to Jaroto by way of Alpha Centauri. Do you follow the courses of pirate ships, Mr. Ransom?
One. I've lost track of her.
Perhaps you know the name of the Callisto Queen better under her former name.
The name of the ship.
Her captain used to call her Hawk of Darien.
Captain Cherith. Here. On Yaroto. Is the woman with him?
You would like to see her blood run under the knives of the priests, no?
No.
And if I told you it must be her life or yours?
How do you fit into all this, Maitor?
Easily. Once, 10 years ago, you and the woman now aboard the Hawk of Darien blasphemed together against the Temple of the Dark One in Darien.
Go on.
When you landed here this afternoon, the avenging priests were not far behind you.
How did you...
I have my contacts. I found them invaluable. But you're growing impatient, Mr. Ransom. I will be brief. I have contracted with the priests of Darien to deliver you to them tonight for a considerable sum.
How did you know you would find me?
I was given your description. So many of the haunted and the hunted come here to forget for an hour the things that pursue them. I was expecting you, Mr. Ransom.
If there's a large sum of money involved, I'm sure you'll make every effort to carry out your part of the bargain.
I am a businessman, it is true. But in my dealings with the master of the Hawk of Darien, I have seen the woman, and I have heard stories. It occurred to me that the priests would pay much more for the woman than they would for you. And it seemed to me that a message from you might coax her off the ship. After all, when one has been in love...
That's enough. I wonder if I could kill you before the guards got to me. They will get me, no doubt, but not before I blow your head off.
Are you then so in love with death, Mr. Ransom? Don't be a fool. It's a small thing, a woman's life. A woman that has betrayed you. We both know she's the scum of the galaxy. She's a backstabbing whore. There will be other women. The woman who dances right now, I will give it to you, to take with you in your new ship. Any man for a prize.
Master, 6 o'clock, get down! Sir, that's our job. Stay down.
Damn, all right.
Sir, there's an inscription on this
I
knife.
know it by heart. Death to him to the fileth, the bed of the Dark One. Life to the temple on the city of Darien.
So, where to?
We're going to visit one of the pleasure houses located on the fringe of the city, near the spaceport and the desert beyond. I know where crewmen go in strange worlds. Will you take this note to the captain's woman?
The captain killed the last man who looked at his woman, flogged him to death.
I am not asking you to look at her. Go away.
Let me see the note before I take it.
It would mean nothing to you.
I have to see it first.
Let him see it. Translate it for him.
I said shut up. It's in a language you do not understand.
Let him see how a man murders a woman to save his own neck.
You're supposed to be dancing at my tour's place. That's your business. This is mine. Half now, the rest later. Deal?
Deal.
Look at me. Look at me. If you cross me, you will wish you could die by flogging. I will torture you to death my way. Understood?
Aren't you going to ask me to sit down?
Certainly. Sit down.
I'd like a drink. What are you thinking now, Ransom?
The temple.
You studied for the priesthood of the Dark One yourself.
Did Mitre tell you that? There are things that even Mitre doesn't know. Even Amnesian Mitre.
Well?
Well, nothing.
You were going to tell me about how you are really a very honorable man. Why don't you? You have an hour before it will be time to betray the woman from the Hawk of Darien.
If I told you that I had been an acolyte in the Temple of the Dark One, and that I was condemned to death for blasphemy committed for the love of a woman, would you like me better?
I might.
10 years ago, I used to be known as Raseed, my Earth name. There, my parents took me into space in a laboratory ship that became my home, until a crash landing left me an orphan and a ward of the temple in the city of Darien. I was taught that in the beginning, the god of the mists had gone down wrapped in sea fog and stole the sacred fire where the Dark One slept. Centuries later, the Dark One woke up and destroyed the city of Darien. So, it had been almost from the beginning that when the pillars of the temple shook, a gorgeous maiden was chosen by the sacred priests to go down as the bride of the Dark One. Then, on a night of sacrifice, on this particular night, I was scared as I had ever been. Then, I heard a scream. No! It's Turakai, my love. Turakai, the love of my life. had been selected for the offering. As soon as I could get away from the wards of the temple, I raced to the inner chamber. Two priests had taken her and vanished. I went after them. Behind the temple was a small broken gate with a large door at the entrance to the pit of the Dark One. Then, the door began to open. The priests that had taken Durakai were now exiting the entrance without her. I suppose I don't need to tell you how viciously and brutally I attacked him both. Great anger and fear, I walked to the pit's entrance and opened it. There were no onyx steps, no monsters waiting past the door. The legends were absolutely false. The air was nearly unbreathable where I found her. She was unconscious at the edge of a ledge. itself might have been in that pit that opened beneath it. A geologist would have called it a major fault, but it was hell enough. When I picked her up, there were skulls on a stick right by her body.
The Sturakai. She is the woman on the Hawk of Darien?
Yes, my little story has an epilogue. Something not so quite romantic. I lived with Durakai in hiding near Darien for a year until a ship came in from space, a pirate ship with a tall, good-looking Earthman for a master. I took passage for Durakai and signed on myself as a crewman, a fresh start in a bright new world. I'll spare you the details of that happy voyage. At the first port of call, on Jupiter, Durakai stood at the top of the gangway and laughed when her captain Jareth had me thrown off the ship.
She betrayed you for the master of the Hawk of Darien.
And tonight, she'll pay. It's been pleasant telling you my pretty little story.
Ransom, wait!
Forget it. To the spaceport. Fast.
Rashid would see his beloved before he dies.
Come on, faster! Wait for me right here. I'll be back.
Rashid, I could not let you die alone.
There are a couple of my men outside. When the priests are spotted, you can slip through the rear exit.
Why the devil do I have to be here now?
As I have told you, I'm a businessman. Until I have turned the girl over to the priests, I cannot be sure of my payment. This girl, as you know, is not without friends. If Captain Jareth knew she was here, he would tear this place apart, he and his crew. Those men have a rather impressive reputation as fighters. And while my guards here are...
You've been drinking too much of your own rotten liquor, Maitor. Why should I try to save her at the 11th hour? To hand her back to her lover?
Hey, I never drink my own liquor, Mr. Ransom. I have seen love take curious shapes.
Save your memoirs. I want a guard to get me to the ship you promised me. And I want it now. Maitor.
Yes, Mr. Ransom?
There isn't any ship. There never was.
It would have been easier for you if you hadn't guessed. I'm really sorry.
So you will make a double profit on this deal. I was the bait for Durakai, and Irene was bait for me. You are a good businessman, Mytor.
You're taking this rather better than I had expected, Mr. Ransom.
Stand up, Rashid. It is the end. The game is played out and we lose at last. It will not be worse than the pit of the Dark One.
Run, Durakai. Save yourself.
Your death will not be made prettier by what you have done.
That depends on how you look at it.
Does it? Absolutely.
No, Ransom, don't shoot. I'll give you everything. Irene, the ship, the bar, more money.
I'm not gonna shoot you. I'm just gonna kill you. I was willing to forgive your blackmail and just kill your guards and the priests. But you had to be greedy, Mytor. Greed kills. Enjoy your double profit now. Why did you do this? You didn't know Durakai, and you despised me.
At first I did. That's why I agreed to Mytor's plan. But when I had spoken to you, I felt differently.
I found Durakai outside, and she told me what you did. I sent her back to the ship with a couple of my men. This will be the first promise that Mytor ever kept.
What do you mean?
You have now the keys to his private ship, and I'll make sure that you get to it.
That wasn't all that Mytor promised him.
Will you come with me, Irene?
Where?
The galaxy is full of worlds, and even the Dark One cancels his debts when the night of Bantai is over. After tonight, I am a free man.
Let's go and look at some of those worlds.
Are you ready?
As I will ever be.
Here we go, sweetheart.